The guy who tried to force his way into my dorm room built my class schedule for my Reddit history. I didn't get that right away. At first, I just sat in lecture halls and hallways, scrolling the campus sub like everybody else, dumping my brain out. Rant about my 8 a.m. chem, memes about my shitty cinder block dorm, which prof will tank my GPA, trashing the dryer on 3 that ate my socks. I posted my major, my floor, stupid details like my window faces the dumpster, so every morning smells like death. It felt safe behind a dumb username. I thought I was just yelling into a void. Then this guy starts popping up. Not, we have the same class popping up, more like scripted entrances. He's outside the exact lecture I'd complained about that morning. He just finished the same lab I'd whined about the week before. Always near, never quite with me. Hoodie, messy hair, laptop, totally average. But he watched me like he already knew what I'd say. He dropped these little comments that hit too close. In the stairwell, basement chem at 8 a.m. is brutal, right? In the exact words I'd used online. In the laundry room, that dryer on 3 eats everything. No way that was random. That line came straight from my post. One day he goes, North Hall sucks, but at least your room's not over the dumpster. I never told anyone that in person. I just freeze there holding my laundry basket, laughing it off while my brain hurtles through every post I've ever made. Later in my room, I scroll through my history and feel my stomach drop. Every complaint, every tiny detail lines up. North Hall, 3rd floor, Chem 104, 2 labs a week, the RA I called a power-tripping hall monitor. I basically wrote my own doxing script. I still tell myself I'm paranoid. I tell myself he probably overheard me in class, maybe recognized my backpack, whatever. You do that, right? You argue with yourself because the alternative is admitting you're being hunted by some boring-looking guy with too much time. Then the study guide appears. I come back from class one afternoon, hallway reeking of burnt popcorn, and see this neat stack of printed notes propped outside our lounge. Chem 104 midterm study guide. Everyone leaves crap around during exam week, so I pick it up. It's legit, bullet points, reactions, all that. I flip to the second page, and in the top corner, tiny but clear, there it is, my Reddit username. Not my name, not my initials, the exact handle I hide behind when I talk shit about this place. Seeing it printed in Times New Roman hits harder than any threat. My chest goes tight. I scan the hall, expecting someone to jump out yelling, "Gotcha!" Nothing, just quiet, humming lights, a distant shower running. I take the notes to my room and stare at that username like it might move. My roommate shrugs, says maybe it's some inside joke I'm not getting. I hear myself say, yeah, must be a joke, but I'm already opening my laptop. That night, I go scorched earth. I delete posts, comments, everything on the campus sub. I edit out mentions of my major, my dorm, even stupid stuff like the color of my comforter. I change my profile, lock down my email, switch passwords. I feel crazy as I click delete over and over, like I'm mopping up blood only I can see. For a week, nothing. No weird run-ins, no pointed comments. I start to unclench. Maybe some troll grabbed my username once, and that's it. Maybe I fed the paranoia and scared him off. Then the fire alarm goes off. It's a weekend night. I'm in pajamas, half asleep, when the siren starts shrieking in the hallway and the strobe light starts its seizure show. Everyone groans and drags themselves out. I grab my phone ID, slide on shoes, and lock the door behind us. I remember turning the deadbolt. I remember because I think, dumbly, if this is a real fire, this lock won't matter anyway. We shuffle down the stairs in a cranky cluster, people swearing about our ace, someone joking about pulling the alarm just to clear a pong table. We stand outside for like 20 minutes while campus safety pokes around. Cold air, bright lights, the usual bullshit. Eventually, they wave us back. I'm still annoyed when I reach our door. My roommate's behind me ranting about exams and lost sleep. I swipe my card, light flashes green, deadbolt turns smooth. I push the door open, maybe 2 inches. Something hits it from the other side. Hard, not like a draft, like a shoulder. The door slams back into my hand. For a second, I think it jammed. Then it shoves against me again, this time with clear intention. There's someone inside our room, pushing back. My brain lags. The main light is off. Room a dark block. I see the bathroom door cracked open, a line of deeper black behind it. Whoever's in there must have stood in that dark, the whole drill, listening, waiting. I slam my weight into the door and scream without words, just raw noise. The person inside grunts and leans harder. We're locked in this ugly tug of war, wood rattling, metal grinding. I can feel his body through the door. I smell that damp hoodie smell. My roommate comes around the corner, sees me braced against the door, and just drops her stuff and rams it with me. Both of us shove with everything we've got. The door jerks forward and something soft wedges in the gap. There's this wet crunch, and he lets out this high, pissed off yell. The pressure vanishes. The door flings open. We stumble inside, hearts going insane. I catch a glimpse of him, hoodie, jeans, one hand clutched to his other like he's holding broken fingers together, and then he bolts through the bathroom and into the fire stairwell. Gone. I know it's him. Even without seeing his face, my whole body recognizes the shape of him, the way he moves, the height from all those times I felt his eyes on me outside chem. RA sprint in. People gather, phones out. Someone calls campus cops. I stand there shaking while officers sweep our room like they're bored. They ask if anything's missing. I look around. Laptop still there, wall on the desk, nothing obviously touched. But the air feels wrong. My bed feels wrong. The idea of him sitting in my chair, maybe scrolling my stuff while sirens wailed outside, makes my skin crawl. I tell them about the posts, the way he parroted my Reddit lines, the printed study guide with my username. I try to explain how he built a map of my life out of my own venting. One of them actually smirks, says, well, since nothing happened and he didn't actually assault you, it might have just been a prank. A prank. Sitting in a dark, locked room during a fire alarm, waiting to see which girl comes back alone is a prank, apparently. I argue. I push back, but all I get is we'll file a report and let us know if anything else occurs. No interest in my screenshots. No request for the printout. No real plan. I drop Kim that week. I file for a room change, then a dorm change. I stop using the campus sub. Every time I type something online, I hear his voice finishing my sentence. I strip out anything that could pin me to a place. No building names, no floor numbers, no class times, nothing about my window or the shitty dryer. I watch people overshare online now, and I actually get angry because I know there's at least one bored little freak on every campus ready to connect the dots. He didn't just recognize me. He read me like a manual. He knew my schedule, my habits, when I'd be in lab, when I'd be in lecture, how I felt about my RA, even how I joked about my own fear. He sat in my room in the dark and gambled that one of us would walk in alone. That's not a fucking prank. That's hunting. To the asshole who mined my posts and sat in my dark room, waiting to see which of us walked in alone. I dropped the class, I changed dorms, and if we ever meet again, it'll be with a printout of that fucking username collage you think you hid. The man who helps with laundry in my building keeps a jar of our hair and knows our usernames. I didn't put that together at first, obviously. To me, he started as just one of those basement guys every old building seems to grow like mold. Mid-50s, soft belly, gray stubble, the kind of guy who always has a ring of keys and a story about how things used to be cheaper. He lives on the first floor, but spends more time underground with the machines, like they're his roommates. The laundry room's in the basement, concrete floor always damp, buzz of fluorescent lights that never fully stop flickering. Old coin-op bullshit with handwritten notes taped to everything. Spin cycle sticks, lift lid. Don't overload. Out of order, seriously. He's just there. Every time I go down, he appears from somewhere. That little hallway with the breaker box, the stairwell, the maintenance closet. He trades quarters, hands you a stray sock, props the door with his foot like he's doing you a favor. At first I thought, whatever, harmless maintenance grandpa. He jokes about the machines, talks about kids these days not cleaning the lint trap. He remembers people's schedules in this way that feels flattering before it feels creepy. Like he'll say, "You usually come down later, long day?" You nod because, yeah, long day, and it feels like someone actually noticed you exist in this dumb building where packages vanish and management answers email twice a year. Then I started noticing the pattern. He never hovers when men unload their dryers. If some guy from 3B is down there, laundry dude just stays in his chair reading a newspaper that's a week old. But the second a woman pulls clothes out of the dryer, he stands up. Not close enough to trigger the alarm bells right away, just close enough to see everything. He watches what you fold. He watches what you drop. He watches how fast you move. If you leave the lint trap open, he's there before the lid even shuts. You pull your clothes, you turn your back for 2 seconds, and he's already at the machine. He slides the lint out, kind of careful, like he's picking up something fragile. Tucks it into his pocket if he thinks you're not looking. If you're looking, he pretends he's cleaning it for you. Says something about fire hazards, about doing it right. Sometimes he stands there folding abandoned clothes with this weird focus, like he practiced on millions of shirts before this. I caught him once grabbing a wad of lint from my machine before I even finished loading the dryer. I said out loud, "You could just leave that there." He smiled this slow little smile and said something like, "Just keeping the vents clear." No big argument, but something in me tightened. It felt like someone touching your plate at a restaurant before you finish eating. Not illegal, just wrong. I told myself I was paranoid. I've dealt with actual creeps, and this guy didn't catcall, didn't follow anyone to the elevator, didn't do the obvious stuff. He just existed at the edges. Too helpful, too available. When the elevator broke and we had to hike 5 flights every day, he was strangely thrilled. He'd catch people on the stairs, ask how their knees were holding up, joke about getting our steps in. He never seemed to leave the building. The night everything clicked, my washer flooded. Old machine, shitty hoses, plus I overloaded it because I was tired and broke and didn't want to pay for 2 loads. Halfway through, water starts spilling out the front like the thing's vomiting. I hit buttons, yank the cord, swear loud enough that it echoes. He appears instantly, like the sound summoned him. He rushes over with a mop, makes a big performance out of saving the day. Tells me it's not my fault. The machines are ancient, management's cheap. It actually calms me down for a second. Then he says he needs to show me where the shutoff valves are, in case it happens again. Points to the little maintenance nook behind the laundry room, the one I always assumed was locked. He pulls out a key, unlocks the door, and waves me in. My brain does this tiny calculation. You don't go into weird rooms with men you barely know. But the door stays open, and it's 10 feet from the machines, and I'm already ankle deep in water and pissed and embarrassed. So I step inside. It smells like detergent and metal and something sour under it. Shelves of supplies line the walls. Boxes of off-brand powder, rows of bleach, piles of lost socks. At first, it just looks like a hoarder's closet for laundry. Then my eyes hit the jars. Mason jars. A whole row, then another. Clear glass, metal lids, each one labeled in neat black marker. Apartment numbers first, then little nicknames. 2D, cat girl. 5A, nurse. 3C, law school. A couple just have descriptions like runner, tattoo arm, blonde ponytail. Inside each jar, compact little wads of lint, gray with streaks of color, woven through with long hairs twisted into them. Some jars are almost full, somehow just a little bit settled at the bottom like dust. There's one with my number on it, my apartment, and next to it, my nickname, the thing people on my floor started calling me after I moved in. Something you shouldn't know, but he does. My stomach drops so hard I swear I feel it. It's not just gross at that point. It's evidence. It's tracking. It's obsession that started with the lint trap and didn't stop. Suddenly, I replay months in my head. The way he pushes quarters into my hand. The way he remembers my schedule. The way he appears right when I open the dryer. On the little folding table in the corner, There's a laptop open. No screensaver, no password typed in yet. Like he just stepped away for a second. I glance at it because of course I do. I see Reddit's layout before my brain even names it. Tiny subreddit like a ghost town one. Top posts all by the same username. His. Each post is a profile. He's writing about us. Not our names, but our units, our nicknames. Cat girl. Usually late nights. Leaves dryer running, very clean, probably single. Laundry is mostly blacks and leggings. The words blur a little, but I force myself to read. He writes about when we come down alone, what we wear, who we bring, how unguarded we look. He rates people, most careful with underwear. Seems shy, jumps at noises. Probably posts in the city sub as username. Then I see mine, my jar on the shelf, my unit number, my stupid nickname, and on the screen, my actual Reddit username. He wrote, definitely username. Complained about broken elevator same day. She cursed at third floor door. Timing matches. Energy matches. She overfills machines. He quotes me, word for word. The rant I posted in the city subreddit about our elevator, about climbing stairs with groceries, about management being useless. I feel my skin crawl like there are bugs under it. I didn't tell anyone in the building about that post. I wrote it on my couch, alone, thinking I was just screaming into the void. I don't realize he's behind me until his voice hits the back of my neck. Calm, almost amused. I don't catch everything he says because my ears start ringing, but the words plumbing checks land. He tells me the jars are for monitoring lint buildup. Says you can tell who overuses softener, who overloads, how it affects the pipes. Like he's giving a TED talk on the science of creeping. I say something like, this is fucked, and he shrugs. Actually shrugs. No es panique. No panique. Just this bland confidence like I walked in on a guy adjusting a thermostat. I go straight to management the next day, still shaking. I don't sugarcoat it. I describe the jars, the labels, the hair. I tell them about the subreddit, my username, the quotes. The girl at the front desk raises her eyebrows, takes notes, says she'll pass it along. She doesn't even open a laptop. I push harder, my voice gets louder. I know I sound hysterical, but I don't care. Finally, some manager guy calls me into his office a few days later. He leans back in his chair, steeples his fingers, puts on his reasonable voice. Tells me the laundry guy's been around forever, helps out unofficially, keeps the place running. He says they talked to him, and he says the jars really are for maintenance. Says the subreddit is weird but not threatening. I ask if they saw it, if they read the posts, or if they just took his fucking word for it. He shrugs, says, look, he's weird, not dangerous. If the room makes you uncomfortable, don't go in it. That's the official stance. Don't go in a room if you don't like it. Never mind that the room's in the path to the shut-off valves they told me residents might need. Never mind that the not dangerous man collects samples of our hair like trophies and psychoanalyzes our folding habits for an audience of 5 internet strangers. I think about going to the cops. Then I picture myself trying to explain this guy runs a creepy subreddit and hoards lint to some bored officer who's already decided nothing counts unless there's a body. I think about my rent, my lease, how moving costs money I don't have. I think about him sitting in that basement every night, adding to the jars one lint trap at a time. So now I sit with my laundry the entire cycle. I don't leave things unattended. I clean my own lint trap and shove it into my pocket and bring it upstairs like a crazy person. I avoid eye contact when I pass him in the hall, but I feel his gaze hook into my back anyway like a fish. And he's still down there, still trading quarters, still folding other people's abandoned shirts like he's rehearsing something, still collecting his data points. Who rushes, who lingers, who checks their phone, who zones out. I feel him watching not just for hair and lint, but for when people slip, when we're distracted, when we're unguarded, the way he writes. I still feel his eyes on my back, weighing how much more he can collect without anyone calling it what it is. Practice. I realized someone in my building was crowdsourcing our entry codes on Reddit after I woke up to my keypad already lit. The glow bled under the bedroom door, this faint cold blue, and for a second, I thought I'd left the hall light on. Then I heard the lock beep once, like a hiccup, and go quiet. No knock, no footsteps, just my heart thudding, so loud it sounded fake. We have one of those keyless locks with a 4-digit pad. When I moved in, the property manager said, "Pick something easy so you don't lock yourself out," and I did exactly that. Dumb pattern, the kind every guide says not to use. I told myself I'd change it next week, and obviously never fucking did. I waste way too much time on our city subreddit. I doom scroll before bed, during breakfast, whenever I'm waiting for something to boil. So when I started seeing posts like, "What's the dumbest door code you've seen?" and "Why does everyone use 2580, huh?" it just felt like background noise. People joke, dropped examples. I laugh along because, yeah, people are idiots, including me. Then someone posted about keyless locks. They described my exact model, black faceplate, tiny green or red light, brand name I recognize from the install sticker. Then they mentioned my street, not just the neighborhood, my actual block. Commenters chimed in, "We got those too, my building near Cross Street." I felt this little twist in my gut, but brushed it off. There are lots of buildings, right? What are the odds? First time I really got scared was maybe 2 nights after that. Around 3 a.m., I half woke to soft beeping at my door. Not the frantic pattern of someone slamming codes, just slow single presses. 1 pause, 2 pause, 3, like they were getting a feel for the keys. I lay there frozen, breathing shallow, listening through the door like my life depended on it. The timing was wrong for a drunk neighbor. Too measured. They'd hit one number, wait, another, like they were practicing, not trying. After a while it stopped. No door handle rattle, no knock, nothing. Just my brain replaying those beeps over and over. Next day, I told myself I dreamed it. Then I checked Reddit at lunch. At the top of my feed, "Do your neighbors reuse pins?" The post time lined up almost perfectly with that 3 a.m. window. The top comment described my lock, my street, and then joked that people on my block probably use birthdays. Under that, someone replied with a list of the most common 4-digit patterns and said, "Bet half your building is on here." Mine stared back at me like a mugshot. I changed the code that night. Picked something random. No pattern, no birthday, nothing for my life. Just digits. I made myself type it 10 times until my fingers learned it. Deleted the old code from the app. I even cleared my Reddit history, like that would help. For a few days, everything felt normal again. And the beeping came back. Same time of night, that dead zone where the building feels hollow. I woke up instantly this time like my brain had been waiting. 4 quick beeps in a row. My old code, perfect, first try. The lock chirped denial and flashed red, the glow seeping around the frame. My stomach dropped. No one should know that sequence anymore. I'd wiped it. There was a pause, maybe 3 seconds. Then 4 new beeps. My new code. First try. No hesitation, no testing digits. The lock flashed red, then green, and I heard the bolt slide back. It's a tiny sound in the daytime, but at 3 a.m. it felt like someone cracking my ribs open. I stared at the door, waiting for the handle to turn, for the shadow under the gap to break. Nothing. Whoever was out there, just let it sit unlocked until the auto lock kicked back in and the motor whined and clicked again. Then slow footsteps down the hall. No ruse. In the morning, I checked the app. It showed a manual attempt, successful, and then nothing. No door opened, no door left ajar. Exactly like someone had walked up, proved to themselves they could get in, and walked away. Tested the edge of the cliff and decided not to jump. Yet, I went back to that Reddit thread. This time I actually read the comments instead of skimming. Buried under all the jokes was one user. Low karma, bland handle, replying to anyone who mentioned their building or posted their old codes for laughs. Little follow-ups. Was that a neighborhood? Same kind of lock as this. You on a higher floor or street level? Always framed like curiosity. People answered without thinking. They described layouts, floors, which side their door faced, how many units per landing. They basically drew maps for a stranger. I clicked that user's profile. Their entire history was our city sub. Posts about stolen packages, broken front doors. Anyone else have lazy landlords who reuse codes? Nothing technically threatening. Nothing that you could show a cop without sounding paranoid. But the pattern was there once you saw it. They were building a fucking database out of people showing off how dumb their pins used to be. My brain did this ugly back scroll. I remember my own comments from months back, pictures from my window, jokes about my hallway, griping about maintenance. I'd said what floor I was on once, casually, in some thread about stairs versus elevator. I complained about the new locks when they were installed. I might as well have posted a blueprint. I stopped using the keypad completely, disabled it in the app, and switched to the backup key they give just in case the battery dies. Then I went out and bought a cheap metal chain from the hardware store and screwed it into the frame myself, knowing full well the landlord would bitch if he saw it. I didn't care. Let him come remove it. At least I'd know someone was inside my apartment in daylight hours and not at 3 a.m. I wiped my old Reddit account, made a new one with no personal details. I still lurk though. I still see threads pop up about dumb house security and worst pin habits. And every time I check the comments, that same user is there, still asking small, harmless questions. People keep answering. They don't feel that cold crawl I do when I hear a 4-digit sequence in any electronic beep. They don't wake up at every tiny click from the hallway. I know how this sounds. Paranoid, internet poisoned, like I'm connecting dots that aren't there. That's what keeps me from calling the cops. That, and the fact that whoever this is hasn't technically done anything. They stood at my door, solved the puzzle, and walked away. For now. So I don't post photos from inside my place anymore. I don't mention my floor, my view, my brand of lock, anything. I carry my keys, even to take out the trash. I double-check the chain every night. Because somewhere nearby, there's a bored bastard who treats people's houses like a puzzle game. And the only reason I'm still guessing at his end goal is that he hasn't hit enter yet.